Okay, folks, let's get this show on the road. The Fife Property Market Weekly Update. This is from the 4th of June to yesterday, the 10th of June. Good evening to the people on Instagram as well, and everywhere on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all other social media channels. So we're live streaming on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so this is all about the weekly property update in terms of the Fife market. Now, well, you could extrapolate this to a certain degree if you're outside of Fife and you don't really care about what happens in Fife because you're in another region completely different. But it gives us a good indication because Fife represents almost a microcosm of the whole of the UK. We will have St Andrews, which is effectively the London of Fife, or Ely in the East Neuk area. And then we have the other end of the spectrum as well. And in between, Fife represents typically, the top of Fife is more 50% rural, and the bottom of Fife is about 50% more urban, if that makes sense. So farming, fishing industry, tourism, and industrialised tends to be in the areas of Glenrothes, Kirkcaldy, and the Dunfermline area as well. So this is why we talk about this, and you can, as I said, you can extrapolate this out if you want, but it's pretty revealing information considering, and it gives a conflicting message in comparison to what the media is actually saying right now. And it's only our own personal experience. It's maybe because we do everything on a digital format and we tend to be pioneers in terms of what we are doing. So maybe we're actually reaching markets potentially which other agents can't reach. Well, I probably know that probably is the case. And that's why we see the market in a different way to everyone else. It's reporting on the news and the media and even the government, which is actually quite surprising considering out of all the times we've predicted the market, we tend to be more or less right, whereas the people that are supposed to be in a job to actually forecast the market on a UK basis tend to be pretty inaccurate, which is actually quite surprising. Whether that will actually come in line or not is another story. But that's all for another day. Okay, so let's talk about the Fife property market and where we are right now. I'm going to share the screen. Now, just actually, when I say this, there's 901 properties on the market right now available in Fife for sale, and that's according to Zoopla. So you can go into Zoopla real time right now, type in Fife, and it'll come up with 901 properties available. Now, what does that tell us? Well, pre-pandemic, there was more than 1,200 properties available throughout Fife. So in a nutshell, it kind of tells us there's still a restriction in the supply of the number of properties available for sale in Fife right now, which will tend to make the market be quite stable, if not just a wee bit heated, if that makes sense. Now, we tend to see that right now in the, I think, 300,000 downwards price point, and it's predominantly driven by the thought process base rates are going to continue to go up, and it'll probably go up another quarter point this month and the next month to a 5% base rate. And most people, in terms of higher lending, then have to rein back their price point on what they expected their budget to be for their next property. And therefore, they're having to come down in what they can afford to actually buy. So properties that are actually at the other end of the spectrum, probably the 400,000, 500,000 and upwards, are taking a wee bit longer to get a bit of traction for it. And it's because of that price point. Now, what we've found is the mortgage lenders are becoming more creative. We've seen this before, but we won't lead to this, and I'll tell you why. We won't lead to a 2008 scenario. And I'll tell you why. They're becoming more creative in how to sell a mortgage product. And why do I say that? It's because the banks are in the business of selling mortgages and lending money. They're not in the business of giving you money, a return on your savings. They're in the business of making money and profit, and that means they've got to continue to lend to do that. So they're becoming more creative in how they do it within the legal restrictions, what they've got just now, and also social responsibility, clearly, after the 2008 situation. So what are they doing to do that? Well, they're giving examples of, I tell you what, instead of a 25-year mortgage, you can get a 35-year mortgage. That will bring your monthly payments down round about 20% in terms of what you expected to pay. Therefore, it'll make it more affordable for you to get a larger mortgage, therefore to afford a bigger house. They don't tell you though, and they just put it in writing. So it's up to you to read that small print. It will cost you a lot more for the mortgage itself over the longer term. But that's a trade-off if you want to do that. So that's why they're becoming that. And that's why I believe mortgages will eventually move to a situation where you'll have lifetime mortgages of 100 years. And it's inevitable to happen. So property prices over the next 15 to 20 years will continue to rise. They'll not be the same, and they'll not go down over the next 15 to 20 years. Since I was born in 1966 up to today, property prices have gone up 8,004%. Yes, 8,004%. Inflation's gone up at the same period 1,333%. Property always outperforms inflation in the long term. So that's to give you an example where we are now, and I will think that'll continue to go as we become more creative in terms of lending, and as incomes move up as well. So if they're becoming more creative and they're able to make the monthly payment a lot less in terms of the amount of money going out in terms of somebody's salary, but their salaries continue to go up, it means they can afford a higher price point in terms of what they want to purchase. And that's where it will probably lead to. Now, that has led to areas in the continent as well, where they've done that already. So this model has been proved. It's just a case of the UK market accepting that model to come, which is what's going to happen. Now, this is what's bringing me back to this situation where everybody goes, oh, we'll keep pumping more loans into it, but we'll not get to a 2008 situation. Well, in 2015, 2016, there was a stress testing put in place. Now, everybody that lent money at that time was required by law to stress test the mortgage holders. Now, the people that took out 5-year fixed rate and 6-year and 10-year fixed rate mortgages were all stress tested at high levels. Now, at that time, where it continued to go on up to about 2020, and before stress testing, I think, was taken away that requirement legally, but the bank still kept it in place. Most people were stress tested between 5 and 6 or 5 and 7%. So we're at a situation now where base rates are currently at around 4.75%. So which means interest rates will be probably around about, for lending, they're around about between 5 and 7%. So most people coming out of mortgages which were stress tested that will be able to afford them. They just have to cut back on the luxuries that they had before in order to be able to afford it. That's one of the things that wasn't done before. Most people are getting mortgages today are now stress tested around about 8 and 11% interest rate, and then they get the lending. So they're stress tested at that level as well. Again, it's a social responsibility that the banks are doing. I don't think they legally have to do that now because that was taken away, that requirement, but they're still doing it to maintain their liquidity in case anything happens. They're covered. That's what they need to do. They don't want to have another situation like we had in the 2008 situation. Hence the reason why this is all different to what that was. So this will more than likely never ever happen because of that. But we have an unusual situation where we are going into Europe's gone into recession. Now, technically, it's 2 quarters of negative growth, and it's effectively negative 0.1%. And they're trying to play that up as a recession. It's negative 0.1%. That, as far as I'm concerned, is stable. We are not in that situation. We are still a really good economy at this point in time. However, America has implications that they moved their debt level up to now £25 trillion, which is $33 trillion. So that could have an implication later on in terms of liquidity. If you can't pay back your debt at some point, the piper's going to come calling. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody about where we are right now. So I still believe that the market will continue to be robust and buoyant, and it's only a matter of time until more creative mortgage products come out where people will be able to afford the higher price points. So for people at a higher price point, it is fundamentally a waiting game. Sometimes you'll get somebody for one-off properties, which are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. They'll probably jump in straight away and make you an offer you can't refuse. But that'll be a lot less than what it was the year before and the year before that as well, in the boom sort of market. But a stable market is a good market. That's what we want. An equal number of transactions, not price, transactions as it was last year, because that keeps the whole economy going along. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers. Let me share the screen with you and show you the numbers for this week across the Fife property market. Okay, so this is from the 4th to the 10th of June. This is last week across the whole of the Fife area. And this is broken down by region, and it's taken from Rightmove statistics. So it's every single estate agent that lists on Rightmove. This is in their numbers. This is their numbers as well as ours, all added together. So last week, 105 properties were instructed and came to market on Rightmove by all the estate agents on Rightmove in Fife, which is actually quite a low number for the number of properties that came on, which actually gives me the impression there's a bit of restriction in supply, which can actually overheat a market ever so slightly. But if you break it down in region, Cooper, 15 came on, 13 sold in the same week. So, you know, that's a stable market. East Neuk, 6 versus 7. St Andrews, 6 versus 11 sold. That's a really good result for St Andrews, because St Andrews usually lags behind. So that's good for St Andrews, the KY16 area. Leadmouth, 9 versus 3. Now, in previous weeks, you could be mistaken here by saying there's 9 properties come on in Leadmouth, but there's only 3 sold. Wow, more supply than demand. Well, the previous weeks have actually demonstrated that the number of properties actually come on in Leadmouth have been a lot less than what's actually been sold. So this is a levelling out. There's a word that's used quite commonly right now in the political sphere. So it's a levelling out of these numbers, because one week doesn't make a trend, but it's interesting to see where everything lies with the full picture overall. Dunfermline, 46 versus 37. Again, there was a wee bit more supply than demand there was a bit more demand than supply last week. And Glenorchy, 6 versus 11. Again, you could immediately say, wow, there's an overheated market for you straight away in Glenorchy. That's going to be really buoyant. Prices are going to go high. There's going to be big offers. Unfortunately, last week, if you remember, it was more came on than actually sold. So that levels out again. Kirkcaldy, 17 versus 29. Again, the same situation. So this week, when we had 148, I think it was last week, versus 120, it's now turned around to 105 versus 111. So there's more sold than there is actually listed, which is good, which actually why that brings it down to 109 properties available throughout Fife. And it's still a restriction in the supply in comparison to what it was in 2019, which will still ensure that the Fife property market will remain buoyant as a result. Now, I've got a sneaking suspicion there's going to be the same right across Scotland and right across the UK as well. Okay, so let's jump on and talk about numbers in terms of, this is actually quite interesting as well. I show this every single week, and I'm showing it a bit more than usual because it's actually quite good to see this. This is our analytics or statistics according to Google. Google measures this every single time because we've got this on our website. This is from the 1st of January this year versus the 1st of January last year. Now, the dotted line there is last year versus this year. And you can see there, activity on our website is just slightly 3% less than last year. But look how buoyant it is in terms of the thick blue line there as you look through that. The thick blue line suggests there straight away there's more demand. Even when we come to the end there, which was the 9th of June, which is where I picked this up from yesterday, you can see there last year it was down at 7,500 a day, and we're sitting at around about 9,000 a day in terms of there. So it actually just demonstrates to you straight away we've still got a really good amount of activity on our website. Now, that is our website. I can't talk for anybody else. It'd be interesting to see what, if you've got another estate agent, go and ask them what their analytics is for their website, compare it with ours, and then you'll know who's getting all the activity and who's driving that. Content creation is what drives everything, like what I'm doing right now. Google loves new content, and especially live broadcasts. So does Facebook, so does any platform loves new content because it's new and fresh for them to show to users. Hence the reason the index are a lot higher. Hence the reason you get more people attracted to your website as a result of that. Hence, which is why the reason we put out over the channels over 600 pieces of content every single week. 600 every single week. That's almost about 100 pieces of content every single day over our platforms, driving traffic direct to our website. That's where these numbers are coming from. Okay, so typical as usual, let's compare like with like. Last year is the, you can see the light blue, this year's dark blue there. And you can see it's even Stevens in terms of mobile technology. But again, you see mobile technologies leading the way. Desktop, like laptops and fixed computers, are actually dropping what people use, because they're more than likely using the mobile phone, which is what I've got in my hand, to use to see everything, hence mobile. And tablets as well as a winner. So if you combine the mobile with the tablet, really your desktop engines are actually, or search engines are actually disappearing in terms of what people are using to find your website and find your properties, or if you've got something listed. So that's quite interesting as well. And then if you look at where they're all coming from, look at the social media channel. Direct to the website, yeah, that's fine. That's understandable. It will drop because demand has actually dropped from year on year, and so is organic search. So that's fine, is okay. But look at socials. Look at that. It's gone right through the roof, 15% up on last year. Socials is strong. That's Facebook. That's YouTube. That's Instagram. That's TikTok. That's everywhere. Driving traffic to our website from these social media platforms. I'll be honest. This is where everybody is. They're on here. You're probably watching this on here right now. That is the television. Your television in the background is now the radio, because I bet you most of you are actually watching the television in the background, but your attention's on here right now. And then now and again, you pop your head up and go, what was that in the telly? That's the radio. This is the new television. This is why I go on about all the time. You embrace an estate agent. It embraces the new technology, the digital creation, the digital campaigns, and really good digital strategies, because that's what you need to push this. Because as I said there, if you see that right there, socials are blazing the trail. That is where all the emerging market is. That's where all the activity is. 15% up on last year. When you drive it through as well, what does that translate to on areas? Okay, by country, you could see most people actually in these numbers come from the United Kingdom. But look at the United States in that period. Just 3,800 United States. Germany's up 3,800. Ireland 950 in that period. So you can see there's overseas content as well. And that doesn't surprise me, because we've sold to people from France and Spain and Germany previously, because that's where our websites are actually reaching. But this is quite an interesting one next. Look at where people are coming from. Look at London in that period. Now, they're not set as overseas. So 44,000. So basically 44,000 there. And I'll show you, not set as overseas. So basically we are driving traffic in that same period. And that is from the 1st to the 9th. So just take 5 months. So literally from overseas, 44,000 divided by 5. That means about 8,800 people are coming every single month on our website from overseas. That also means in London, there's over 8,000 people every single month coming onto our website from London. And that means in Edinburgh, there's over 3,000 people in Edinburgh coming onto our website every single month in the Edinburgh area onto our website direct. Kirkcaldy, no surprise there as well. We've got 14,000 divided by the 5. That's just under 3,000 every single month come from Kirkcaldy, Glenrothes, St Andrews, Dunfermline, Dundee, Glasgow. We top that up because we're on S1 Homes. So that goes onto the S1 Homes network as well, and into the Herald. And so that drives traffic from there as well. But look, the most important thing, there's all the cities. All the cities. And you have a few localities as well. People in the city areas, actually, when they see the price points here, it's like, why on earth am I living in the city when I could be living in God's country? Which is fine, effectively. I don't care what Yorkshire says. We are God's country. Face facts. Live up to it, Yorkshire. Anyway, apart from that, let's go back to this. So this is where we're driving traffic from, these areas. All the big hitters, the people have got the money to do this and to relocate if they need to, because they don't. You can work anywhere else. Professionals can work anywhere else in the country they want to. They go into the office every now and again. So why would they not choose to live in the beautiful locations that Fife has got? It's more affordable. It's better quality for their family, for bringing up children. It's better quality education as well. You can't have any doubt about that. We've got one of the #1 universities in the UK. We've got some of the top schools as well, with Madras and Bell Baxter. And so we've got fantastic schools. So there's no doubt about it. More and more people are choosing to look at Fife as a viable option. This brings more skill. This brings more skill, more expertise, more income into the Fife area, more investment into the Fife area as well, which must be good for everybody else, because at the end of the day, it's a rising tide lifts all ships. That's what it comes down to. So that's the numbers for there. Let me briefly talk about some of the shows that we've actually done recently. I'll talk about what's coming on, what's getting sold in a minute. For landlords, Richard and I did a few blogs this week for landlords, for investors, for people that want to know about tax if you're a landlord as well. The links are on this post. If you click on it, you go to our website, which will actually show you the links. Buy-to-let tax update was no nonsense guide to current rates and allowances. We did that yesterday on a podcast and also on a show, and the article's in there as well. You can read it at your own leisure. It takes 4 minutes. And also, if you're, we got a letter from someone saying they were thinking of investing 115,000 in the Fife property market, and what should they do? So we actually did a show about this as well, and they were considering buying property in the Fife area for early retirement. And so we've answered these questions as well, and they've actually asked, you know, is it really still worth it? Should I not just put my money in the bank? And we've given honest answers there, and honest opinions. So that's a really good show as well on podcast if you want to listen to that. Let's talk about what's coming to market. So hold on tight. Lots of good properties coming onto market, and I'll cover them right now. Let's talk about what's been sold first of all this week. So no surprise, most of you have been hit with this one. I put this on a Friday and I sold it on the Tuesday before it even got on a website. Sold from the social media channels. It's where it all is. It's social media. It drives everything. Long gone are the days you can just put a property on a website and hope for the best, because if you're waiting on it coming on our website, your buyer has already seen it on social media with us, and we've got them more than likely. So if you're using an estate agent that's got no social media strategy at all and no real traction or numbers on their social media channels, and I mean that really they get pushed out. If you're doing nothing on social media, if your agent is doing nothing on social media, then when they put a property on, guess how many people see it? 0, unless you share it. That's the only way it gets seen. We put a property on, or we put anything else on, and a huge amount of people see it organically because we're content creators at the same time. And that's what social media loves. The algorithms love that. So hopefully, if you want more information on that, you want to talk about that, please feel free to contact and reach out to me direct, and I'll tell you the reason why that happens. What did I do in lockdown? I didn't furlough. I spent the next year and a half studying and almost a master's degree in social media strategy and video technology and how to do everything. That's what I spent my time with. Furlough was not for me. And that's where I put all my effort. And now loads and loads of our customers that have used us are reaping the benefits of that by getting huge offers way beyond what other estate agents are actually achieving. And that's allowing them to have better choices when they move on. Okay, so let's jump out to this one. So no surprise, that went actually, put it on the Friday, had somebody jump in straight away, and it was gone by the Tuesday, sold on social medias before it even got to our website. And that was in George Street, Cellar Dyke. So if you've got a property like this is on at 325,000 offers over. And this is the owners, the people that bought this are actually, they've waited 2 years in rented accommodation to find their perfect property. And this is the one for them. Perfect for them. We're getting somebody to live in them, which is what you want, really. Okay, so this is what they've got. They found a home in their dreams. They bought it, offer they couldn't refuse, in a position to proceed. That's exactly what we want in pre-portal. Job done, over the line. Okay, so let's jump on to Ladybank. And the Ladybank area, sold in 1 week, Ladybank, and this was in Beach Grove in Ladybank. 3-bedroom, 7-detached house, listed offers of 190,000, and it's gone. One other person missed out on this property. So if you've got a property like this in the Ladybank area, we'd love to hear from you, because you could end up getting an offer you can't refuse. Okay, next one, St Michael's in Church and Cooper, sold in 10 days, a 2-bedroom upper apartment. This is a gorgeous property. Now, when everybody saw when these first went on, everybody says to us, there's no way you'll ever get these prices for a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom flat in Cooper. It's way beyond what the normality is. And we sold the whole lot of them. So it's come round again, and we put this one on the market, listed offers for 150,000 for a 2-bedroom upper apartment in the Cooper area, and it's sold again within 10 days. So you knew what you're going to call, and it's no Ghostbusters, it's Fife Properties. Let's talk about what's coming soon. Coming soon. I can't talk about the one I just signed up today, but I'll give you a list of what we've done so far, because the one I've signed up today will probably be, no, I'll actually talk about that one. Yeah, it was signed up today because we'll be doing it this week. So I'll include it in this list. You've just got breaking news right now. I'll just write it down so I remember it. Okay, Grangemere, Woodland and Pittenweem, 2-bedroom lodge is coming on. This is a beautiful lodge. If you're looking for a perfect holiday home at the back of Pittenweem and East Nuke, this could be the one for you. William Street in East Weems, a 3-bedroom end terraced house is coming on. George Terrace, St Monans. This is one we talked about. There's one at George Terrace now in St Monans. It's a 4-bedroom terraced house. I had a look at it. It's immaculate. Craignoon Grove and Cellar Dyke, 4-bedroom detached house. Brayhead and Cooper, a 3-bedroom semi-detached house is coming on. Bankhead Place in Windigates, a 3-bedroom terraced house is coming on. Dura Den, Pitscotty. If you saw my pre-portal for this one on Friday or Thursday, I think it just passed, the 4-bedroom detached villa, which has actually got 5 reception, and it's a grade C listed period property on 0.8 of an acre. Boy, is this house to die for. I'm no kidding. It is gorgeous. And West Shore and St Monans as well. This is a beautiful townhouse, and it has a beautiful outlook. That's all I could say about it just now. Everything's getting put together as we speak. But I will be doing a pre-portal for it this week as well. So if you're looking for a townhouse right on the shore on the harbour in St Monans, overlooking the harbour itself, you need to contact us now and get yourself an advance notice when it actually comes to market. Completed and over the line. Let me talk about this. This is handing over the keys. This gives you a good idea in certain areas how much property is actually going for, and based on what the home report is versus what we actually got for it. So Popular Road in Methil, 2-bedroom semi-detached house. It did sell in 6 weeks, and it basically came in at the home report value. Job done. Dunnekey Road in Kirkcaldy, 3-bedroom detached bungalow. It sold in 9 days, and it sold under the home report value. So it just shows you. And even if it sold in 9 days, the owner got an exit. An exit they could not refuse. It was perfect for them. Sometimes the price is not the important point. It possibly could be the circumstances at the sellers are in compared to the buyers, and if these two things match up, there's a win-win situation, and that's what we're there to do. Okay, Monomill Road in Letham, 3-bedroom terraced house, sold in 10 days from the first bat, and it was sold for 6% over the home report value. That's in the Cooper area, so KY 15. Now that's sold for 15,000 more at £265,000. On Alexandra Street in Kirkcaldy, 2-bedroom ground floor apartment, sold in 3 weeks, and it sold for just over the home report value and represented another £500. £500 better in the seller's pocket than the buyers when you think about it. Tansey Hall, Tansery Park, Tansey Hall, that's a different place, Tansery Park in Glenrothes, 3-bedroom and terrace house. It sold, and it took over the 2 months to average, and it sold to equal to the home report value. So it still took a bit longer than usual, but it actually still sold for the home report value. It didn't sell under. So even though it takes a bit longer to sell your house, it doesn't mean to say you're going to get less for it. It's not how long you've been in the market, it's how long the buyer's been in the market. If the buyer's just come into the market that day, they're not really looking to see if your house has been on for so long. If somebody's hanging around and they're waiting for it to go down, fair enough. But if there's new people coming in every single day in Fife, which is about 20 people every single day make a decision to buy and sell a house, according to the statistics that you just saw, then every single day that passes, there's a new opportunity for someone else to be introduced to your property, which potentially could pay the price you're looking for or a wee bit more. So there's always that occasion to do it. Just because a property is on the market for a longer period of time, it doesn't mean to say it'll go for less. You've demonstrated that loads and loads of times before, and I've spoken about loads and loads of times. Okay, finally, I'm just going to finish off there. So Wealth Creation Show, Richard and I are going to be talking tomorrow. This is all about tomorrow. It's going to be continuous improvement, which will set you free. Now, the practice of continuous improvement is actually quite a common thing in Japan, for example. It's called Kaizen. which was developed to improve Japanese manufacturing process through lowering costs and improving quality. But the Kaizen process actually translates right over the world, and it's a continuous improvement. Now, we use continuous improvement, for example, when I was in property and wealth creation, why I retired at 30-year-old in the period of 8 years from a standing start, was because I used this process to do that. Kaizen it translates to basically a change for the better. It's a simple concept that is used now by loads of people and companies all over the world, an individual and a team and an organizational level. So I've followed this Kaizen philosophy for the past 35 years. So it's nothing new to what I do, and it's how it set me free from that process. So tune in tomorrow. The links are on here. If you click on the link, you'll go to the website and you'll be able to click on the Wealth Creation Show link. You could watch the previous podcasts and the shows that we've done, Richard and I, because we're up to episode 75. We've been doing this for a year and a half, the Wealth Creation shows, and every single one's different. So you'll get something new every single show itself. People have gone right to the very beginning and start from the beginning, and it's literally changed their life in terms of what they would and the knowledge and expertise that they've gained from it. And there's no upsell here. This is all free information. I just want to bank a lot of knowledge and download it from what I've experienced before I pop my clogs. Really, that's it. The worst travesty in the world is to go, basically, and leave this earth without passing on any of your knowledge at all and expertise you've built up over all these years. So this is why I'm downloading it into a podcast format for generations of my family and my children, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren onwards. It can learn from this, because this is all information I've learned from people that came way before me, and all I've done is stood on the shoulders of giants and taken advantage of what I've learned from them and learned by their wisdom more than my experience. Learning by experience can be fatal and cost you a lot of money, but learning by wisdom, by somebody else's mistake and saying, oh, I'll not do that, I'll do it this way, can save you an absolute fortune and actually accelerate your performance to basically set you free. So if it's retirement you're after, or investment, or just a bit better lifestyle that you're looking for, this is probably the show to watch tomorrow. I'll stream it. It's going to be live on we'll share it to our office pages. So you will see it on these pages shared to it. But we will be live on my public profile, my personal profile. We'll be live on YouTube as well, on our Fife Properties TV YouTube channel. We'll be live on TikTok. We'll also be live on Instagram. We'll also be live on Twitter. We'll be live on LinkedIn as well at the same time. And we will be streaming this. You'll have your golden opportunity to ask questions as well about what we're talking about and everything we're talking about, all about Kaizen, which is continuous improvement, and it will set you free. Remember, Kaizen, what it means is a change for the better. If you love where you are right now, the show is probably not for you. That's all I can say. Until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV. Bye-bye for now.